Hello, everyone. It's your host, Tan, and this year was Zonta annual Women Empowerment Conference where they focus on ending child marriages. They stand for gender equality, and they also say no against rape. These women are ordinary women in the community who come out and do extraordinary things, whether if that's going out into the streets and ministering, or even going into the schools to talk with young women about the importance of getting an education and living a godly Christian lifestyle.
Already, this is what they do. They are already exposed to everything. So we parents need to zero in. And like my social said, we need to inculcate this habit of sitting on the dining table. And then because when you are sitting and you are eating with your family, and you start to notice one particular character that this person is not sitting very well. This person is withdrawn. Then there's an attention. But family values nowadays, nobody cares. We want to pay school fees, we want to pay house rent, we want to make sure we have that standard life, and it comes as a cost. That is on one side. The second one is more communication between parents and children. And what causes it? If I know that my daddy or my mom is very aggressive, and they are already tempting me to take this thing, and I'm struggling on my own saying, but I want to ask Daddy. The moment I mention drugs, he doesn't want to know what you have to say again. So a lot of our parents are relating too much. Please let us try and calm down and understand our children. And they are very, very intelligent children. They know what they are saying. When they are saying something, many of us don't pay attention. No, they know what they are doing. So please. Between these very, very young and tender age. Yes, and media influence as well. We go on television programs now where they advertise Benson and energy. You understand? Where they advertise all sorts of alcohol, anything, black label, and all they say is just drink responsibly. You understand? They don't tell them that when you drink it, yes, what is called hangover. Because I've had hangovers too. Nobody told me that if stuff you are going to drink, even if you are going to drink moderately, don't drink it responsibly. Even if you don't drink it responsibly, drink moderately. But these social media influences, they encourage us. There's so much information on social media, and we parents have to try and control it. Most parents now, when the children come, like my own children, the first thing they do is they grab my phone, and they know how to see if you like put it with whatever they will not do it, and then they will have access to it. So let's be watchful of what they do. Is a good thing. The social media is good. It has its advantages and disadvantages. Yes. So let's try and monitor all this.
Preventing and why it happens. I just want to say a little bit of what Lee has just mentioned. I know of a very good family. When you see them outside, you admire them. You want to be part of them. But they have internal problems. And one of the problems is that the father of the house beats the mother of the house. And the children saw this happen. And when they grew up, one of them is an Indian. All the girlfriends they had to leave him because of beating. In fact, they call him punching whatever. So one man now interviewed him. I said, why are you doing this to your girls? Even all this innocent person. I saw my dad doing it, so I copied from my dad. Look at that. Just to watch us what he said. Everything we are saying today zeroed into family. All this drug and this and that and that. We women, we are the owners of the family, We are the owners of the children. When the children start growing, the period period when they learn start from where? From 4 to 1. From 0 to 0. From 0 to 4 or 5. Then from that time, take them to Sunday school. If formative years, if you are Muslim, take them to your mosque. At least they preach there. And the church, you take them to church. Then from the 0, like you said, when you are breastfeeding, pronounce so many things on the baby. Talk to your baby while sucking your breast. Smile and pronounce Esure Fumo. We are Yorubas. And when they reach the age of attending Sunday school, leave them there. Stay with them in a while and then leave them for the Sunday school teachers. Because Sunday school teachers are also very good people, both females and males. Then again, whatever environment you find yourself, you have these drug addicts. And there's a saying, they sleep in each other and they Now, I'm talking this from experience. My husband has a friend. He lives in a city. They've been friends for a very long time. Primary school or whatever. Till today. So one of the children, someone very, very intelligent. In fact, that boy is a genius. The man said he should come to our house to prepare to enter university. Can you believe that they just got hooked to one boy, and that boy, everybody has been suspecting that boy because he was deported from Ireland. They became friends. One day I was riding with him, and I saw both of them at the gate. I didn't say it, I just greeted them. How are you? How are you? How are you? I said, Mom, blah, blah, blah. So I met him, and this boy came in. The boy with pets came in. Do you know this one? You see, I'm always friends with people, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. So when my husband now returned, I told him. So like he used to do, he said, go and buy something for me from the corner shops. He sent him out. Then we searched. He just pulled up the mattress and he saw all these small papers of what? Okay. The white substance. Yes. I'm saying this. Wow. I saw it and my husband called me and I saw it. Then he packed everything. And before then, money has been missing. My daughters will come and give daddy money that they will put in the Bible. And the money will disappear. Then one day I said, maybe the Holy Spirit is I just talked with him. It was then that we knew because we saw almost 100,000 under the mattress. Cash. Like, and the even pounds and the substance, we had everything to one paper. And when he came back, that was like, we saw so many things in the bedroom. When did you meet this boy? He confessed. Attraction. He said the very first day his father brought him to us, he saw the boy at the gate, the main gate. You know where we live now? You know where the main gate is? The main gate. He saw him. So one day he was strolling and strolling, we met him again, and that was when they started. They started their friendship. The very week he came to our house, and he spent 9 months before we discovered. So that is it. So they know each other. They know the signs.
They have the attraction. They need something that brings them together.
And whoever is selling it.
Yeah.
They know
They
that.
know.
Because one is all these things we are mentioning, blah blah blah, marijuana, terrorism, blah blah. Even petrol. We have a security man, young handsome man. Then daddy will send him to buy petrol for the jet. He will buy. Actually, he will leave some in the container, in the keg. But because my husband is more or less an Hausa man. He speaks, he does everything. Then he went to his house in his room. I saw the keg. So what is the keg doing here? He's supposed to be at the gen house. That was out of curiosity. Now, what are they doing with this? He confessed. So we have so many things. Even if something, the white part of it. A lot of things. So where do we start in Nigeria? Where do we start in Nigeria? From home. Start from home. That is why I say you should start from home. Parents.
It's a home, which is the smallest unit of the society.
Mothers need to spend some time with their children. Every day. No matter how busy you are, you must create time to speak with your child. You just ask him, how was your day? Just him. It is through that to be able to get something out of it. Ask them, how was your day? What did you do? What are your friends? Who are your friends? Just in a careless way, ask questions. In a carefree way, you'll be surprised what will come out of it. Because your kids will now learn to have quality time with you. Because when you ask them personal questions, you say, I'm your friend. For a moment, I want to be your friend. Let's talk as friend to friends. And what did you do today? Who did you talk to? Things like that. Actually have this problem, and God will grant us the grace to be able to get across to our kids, so that our kids will be our friends. Because when we were kids, our parents knew us. What is wrong? Say nothing. Something is wrong. We bring it. What will we do? We start crying. That's what I used to do. We just start crying. Only Tony. One. If I say, it's so and so, don't worry. My mother will go out and sort it out. That is what we need to do. We need to go back to the basics. Try to befriend our children so that our children in the future will be able to befriend their own children. This thing has actually destroyed the world. So before you cannot sit down and watch television. No, you don't watch television again. You see everybody in the world. So we really need to create family time. Where there is no time, when you put telephone aside, no telephone. So you can talk, watch television together, maybe there's a program you want to start, you can discuss. And that's the big room for discussion. And then you'll be able to have a meaningful something. That's a lot of parents or a lot of us don't know the different phases. There's a phase for mothering a child. There's the next phase for being a friend, a buddy. There's a period that he wants only counsel. And that's it. Yes. But we think that baby that we change pampers forever, remains the baby forever. And as such, we miss those valuable phases and times, and the whole thing becomes impossible. So at the time you're trying to trace a 10-year-old, that's something you should have done when the child was 1 year old. You want to do it at 10 years. This is not possible. So we must also educate our mothers on the different phases of child development, child growth, and life. And a lot of us don't give the children the facts of life. We sort of protect them, or sort of say, oh, they are children. It is not correct. We must give the child the facts of life. And what do you want for that child? You must have laid that foundation. And you do all this when you have those quality times with the children. There's a reverend gentle lady who told me once that the last daughter was having this teenage development problems. And she said, okay, you know what, I'll come and sit in the class so I will understand. Then when we go back home, I will teach you. The child said, Mom, don't come to that class. You will be the only mommy in the class. She said, what do I do? Since it is becoming difficult for you, I will talk with the teacher and then I will sit at the back. Nobody will know that I'm there. The girl said, no, Mommy, don't come. He said, there's a deal. If you improve in your grades, I will not come. But if I have any report, then be sure I will come. And unfortunately for her, there was no report. So the mother decided to go and sit at the back of the class. And that was the end. The girl started facing her book and her grades just. So we are too busy pursuing ourselves, thinking that we want to contribute just as the man contributes. And maybe the man is not bringing enough. Be contented with what we have too much even. Don't try to prove to anybody. It is only yourself. You're not comparing yourself. Everybody has their own path. So let us be contented. And let us teach our children contentment from day one. Not think we can do it later. No. Let us do the things that we have to do at the time we have to do them. And God helping us, which we will repent. This issue of drug abuse, drug violence against women and the rest of it. Sometimes there's also violence against men. Our men today, we have trained them to be neighbors. Yes. We have trained them to be neighbors. And because of that, our daughters are not marrying the type of people or men that they should marry, and we are getting these children. So we have to be very careful. How are you training the boy child? How are you training? So we need to emphasize that to the society. We need to carry that message across. Our men are later slow down. It is because we have trained them. So we have to look at all those motions, what we need to do as women, and what the society expects of us. With all that put together, with all that we have said here, I am sure if we can really get the message across and people invite us, it's not the first time we say it, over and over and over. And people really accept it. How do they communicate? How do they process this information that we're giving out? Because that's another thing. You send out this information, just like in this country. There are so many policies that have been formulated, that have been disseminated. Right? What has happened to all of them? If nobody is implementing them, nobody is using them, nobody is applying them, so we are always at stage one. There is no point talking without an action or getting results from all our talk. So let us not just talk, let us see what we can do to take it forward. Thank you.
I will just put in one very good point, that all these are all true, but the most important thing is you need to be friends with our children. Counseling them, talking with them, you need to come down to their level, where the child will be able to come in and say, hey, mommy, hey, how was your day? And both of you will chat as mates. I tell you my own experience. I have a son in Iowa, and I went to pick them from school that afternoon. And the first thing he said when he got into the car is, Mommy, trouble deal, trouble there. One of the seniors had told him that, don't your mommy get friends? Don't they have gold? Don't they have money? Go and tell her that you want to buy this. I'm coming to your house at so time. So the boy now told me when we were in the car. So I said, okay, don't worry. When he comes, call me. And he was waiting with his friends. My son was waiting with his friends. My husband traveled to Lagos. He didn't know anything. It's not the time of mobile phone. So he was driving. He saw this boy already seated in my compound. Meanwhile, a meeting on ferry, I was sleeping. So as my husband drove in, he saw me and I said, "What do you want?" He said, "I'm looking for a kid." He said, "Looking for a kid." You are not his age mate, because he was one of the seniors. And you can't be his friend. He said he's his friend. So my son came out, he didn't say anything. You know, immediately, he told my son to come and meet him in the Housing Corporation place. There was a football game there. So he said he will stand there, he will be waiting for him. So when my husband told me, he came to me and said, "Òun sùn ìbàdí, ọmọ kan ló ti wá tó fẹ́ kọ́mọ ẹ̀ ní ìpínlẹ̀." So I quickly got down that, you know, because I had a clean knowledge of what he said. He had left. So what now happened was, we had a guest, Professor Loye was history of the state yesterday. He drove in his car. So we now told him, we said, "Don't worry, I will go with the children. He knows you and me. I will go with him to the field. Your son will pretend to be going to talk to him, and then I will grab him." And that is what we did, and we brought him home. And now called his guardian that they must come to the house. We want to talk to him. That's how he was. He was teaching him how to steal money. And when he starts giving him the drug, he starts teaching him other vices. But because I will talk to them, they used to eat bread and akara, and call this So I would say, "Your burger, where is my balloon?" I tried to come down to them. So we need to come down to them. We need to listen to them. Don't let them say, "Mommy, and you finish the sentence for them." Maybe that's not what they want to tell you. But we believe we know everything and everything about them. That is true. Some children are very different. They will behave well at home. And when they are in school, when they are outside, they are influenced. So we need to be vigilant. We need to keep our eyes and ears open. So God will help us. It's not easy, but with the help of God.
Having said that, there's one aspect that we always neglect: the area of men. Because we have talked about our girls getting married to all these unprepared guys that are not forthcoming. Because you will see women coming together, forming associations to make the society better. I think apart from Rotary, what are the men doing? That's a closer for because if the men are not, and that is why we have to lay emphasis on our he for she campaign. We can't just come together as women, trying to improve this, trying to do that, and we are leaving the men. We have to come together because they are the heads of the home, and that is why we still have this gap. We've not been able to, you know, to really, the solutions are still far from, you know, I just don't know how to put it. The men are far from these intervention programs. What are the guys doing? He's my brother. Please work on that. We are talking about homes. We are talking about homes. We are talking about homes. What about the men? We cannot leave the men out of this. The men they are looking for money. The women are not ready to give up their economic activities because they need money too. Are the men bringing the money they are making to the table for the women to share? That is why the women are not ready to leave what they are making. So the men, we can't just leave the men out of this. The men must be part of this. The men must be part of this.
Please, can I just add a little to that? Let me just add a little. You know, we've been talking about normal family. that the woman should get close to their children, we should be more responsible in the house, we should know what is going on, we should be a friend of our children. But guess what? Majority, do we even have more homes now? Or houses? Then the homes that we have, majority of the head of these homes are women. Economically speaking, where will they have the time to sit with these children? Somebody, one of the senior associates here talked about the way our parents, handle their homes. When the fathers, when they go after the economy, whatever we need, in the home, the mother sits back with the children, have time to look after the children. But these days you have more women in the marketplace searching for what the family will feed on.
Yes.
So how will they be responsible for all this that you have placed, at their doorsteps?
And leaving the men.
So we need to go back to the basics. The major issue of violence, of whether drug, abuse, name the vice in the society, more particularly in our immediate society today, is economy. How do we address abnormal family? You've all spoken about normal family, where the mother should be friends with it. If it were not the intervention, the one that you did, man, with your husband concerning that man, the young man that came to stay in your house, it's because you were home. It's because, your economy, was good then, or is still good. That's why you could discover that. In a situation whereby the man is as good as useless, and the woman will go as early. I don't want us to be looking at this situation, talking about, because just like what happened recently, the NSAS issue, there are two different types of youth. Those that started the program didn't take into cognizance of the youth that were not, weren't taken care of.
Yes.
That didn't come from the good home. That didn't have good foundation. So those ones, they were able to organize themselves very well. They knew what they wanted. But unfortunately, there was another group that didn't have parents' involvement in their lives from the beginning. And they came out because they were hungry and angry. And they could not control themselves, either due to abuse of, drugs, or because they are actually hungry and angry that their background is like that. They too want to, be good. And they did all those destructions. Where am I going? How do we solve this problem? It's very, very convenient for us because we are a bit comfortable, for all of us at this table, to address normal family matters in terms of drug abuse. And we'll be able to help as many as are in the same shoes, same level with us. But how do we address those that do not have the basic amenities of life that supports the family? Thank you.
For political whatever. She saw the children through. Why? Because Britain was okay. Yes. In this place, we have unwanted issues. And the issue is poverty. Period.
Who did not fear that so grateful, and I believe that this issue of addiction
God will help us to solve it. None of our children will fall into it. And even the ones that are already falling into it, God will take them out of it. We thank you all so much, and we pray that we'll continue to help our country as much as we can to erase this evil that is sitting deep into it. So other activities lined up, 4th of December and the flag off. It's all still coming up. And we hope we will see you all there. Thank you so much, the press people. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to this year's annual event with Zanta. The organization has been established for well over 100 years. As you can see, each and every year they had an ordinary woman who did extraordinary things as the leader of this organization. Remember, this is an international organization, and its mission is to stand up against child marriages, end domestic violence, and ending the sexual abuse of women, and creating an environment for women to have gender equality.